Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
What's up, everybody? How you doing? This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, and I'm back at it again with another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, coming at you live all the way over in Wheaton, Maryland, over at the Prototype Studio. And this is a good one because guess what? This is now the season premiere of season number 5. That's right. Our very first episode of the brand new 5th season. We are happy. We are glad to be here to do it. It's amazing. The fact that I'm in the booth, I got the microphone here. We're actually making content, and it's great. You know, it makes me very proud and very happy because, you know, I do this again, and I say it like a broken record. And for this first segment, I'm probably going to say a lot of things that are going to be like a broken record. But if I say it before, it's because it's actually true. You know, it's not false. It's not a lie. It's the absolute truth. And the fact that, you know, I'm here creating content, and I'm happy to do it. And I'm just really glad that you guys are, you know, dialing in, paying attention, and what have you, is really amazing. And I want to start it out by saying that, wow, season number 5, good God Almighty, never in a million years, if I can be transparent, if I can be honest, did I ever think that we would ever reach this pinnacle of season 5. It's crazy. I didn't think for 1 second that we were going to do it. I know that there are a lot of good podcast shows out there, and unfortunately, some of them only make the first, season, maybe 2. But to say that we did 5 seasons here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, I'm smiling from ear to ear right now. It's truly amazing. 5 years ago, I just had the crazy idea to start this podcast journey. And I didn't think in a million years that this would ever happen. At that time, I was trying to do a lot with my acting during that time frame. And it seemed like every movie project that I tried to audition for, I kept on striking out. And it made me really feel bad about myself because, I know they say it's very competitive, which it is. And they say that you shouldn't take things personally. But it really made me think deep down inside myself. I was like thinking, why am I not getting the parts and the roles for certain movies that I'm trying to audition for? Was it something that I did? Was it just something that they felt like I wasn't good enough? Was it something that they felt like I couldn't handle the role? I was really in a dark place with that. And I don't know much more of how I can say it other than the fact that I was completely lost and I was in the dark. And I kept on remembering years ago when I was talking to my best friend, the late Jonathan Henderson, and how I approached him in telling him that maybe this is what I want to do. Maybe this is the rabbit hole that I want to jump into and see where it takes me. And if it wasn't for, him being the friend that he was, and I would say is, I don't know if I would have ever made that leap of faith. He told me in confidence, and he even said it. He said, dude, I believe in you. I believe in you. I think that you're incredible. I think that you're a person that has a lot of talent. And for you to be an actor, well, let me say that again. For you to be an actor and you want to jump into podcasting, you want to transition yourself into the art of podcasting, I can see it. I can really see it because, you know how to talk. You seem to carry a conversation very well. You're very passionate when it comes to, the tone of your conversation. And you're always willing to give anything and everything a shot, an opportunity, a one-time deal, if you will. And he just said it flat out, bro. I think you should go for it. Just try it out. See what happens. And, if a few episodes in, like an episode or 2 or 3 or whatever, you feel at that point, I feel uncomfortable and I don't want to do it anymore, then at that point, that's it. Just retire. Just say that, you tried and unfortunately it was something that you didn't want to do. Well, I did. And, I'm glad that I stuck with it. I'm really glad. It really wasn't easy at first. And I knew that it was a constant learning process. So, first episode wasn't the greatest. Second episode wasn't the greatest. Third episode wasn't the greatest. I would say that I would start to learn a little bit more better about myself and about my style when I got to maybe the midpoint. When I got to the midpoint, I thought to myself, okay, I'm starting to discover something within myself. Maybe it's a brand new discovered sense of confidence. And I felt good about it. I was ready to rock and roll. And I said, all right, because I'm feeling this way, I feel like, okay, I could probably do it. I could probably make this happen. Yeah, I could probably make this happen. But, I kind of have to have, confidence in myself to do it. Because if I don't have the confidence in myself to do it, if I didn't feel like, this was something that I know I can do, then, yeah, there's a lot there at that point that I felt like, okay, maybe I'm going to have to start believing in my own negative hype. I'm glad that I saw, the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm glad that I saw, my opportunity starting to, to grow a little bit. And my confidence started to grow a little bit. And the more episodes that I recorded, having solo episodes at first where I was just doing it by myself. And then slowly, getting guests in my podcasts and special guest hosts, I felt like, okay, now this wheel is spinning. Now this wheel is turning the way that I want it to, and I feel good about it. And wow, you take it from that point to like right now, I've grown. And I feel great. And I feel happy that, that I stuck with it. Because if I had not stuck with podcasting, and if I hadn't really put all my faith and my belief and my confidence within myself to do it, I would have never have had the opportunities like I've had. Throughout, seasons 1 through 4, I grew and I learned a lot. And I interviewed a lot of people. Some people that, are really amazing, that really put themselves out there in the world. Like, example, I never thought that I would interview Daryl Vidal from the original Karate Kid movie, who later on was a part of the Cobra Kai series. I never thought that I would interview a professional stuntman by somebody like Gio Corvera, who's been, a stuntman in Hollywood, doing Hollywood films and TV shows. I never would have thought that. I never would have thought that I would interview somebody like a Francis Pineda, who is a student of the late Taekwondo Grandmaster Jun Rhee, who everybody knows. I just would have never had opportunities after opportunities after opportunities, and I am glad. I am happy. I am ecstatic. And I take all of that experience, all of that, energy, and all of that confidence that I had built for myself. I take all of that, knowing that now we are now in the 5th season, the brand new season, the season premiere. And I'm really excited. I don't know specifically what is going to happen. Like, what's going to happen? Do I have a plan? Do I have everything finalized and everything? Truth be told, I don't really have a structured plan, a finalized plan. I do have an idea of what I want to do. What I want to do, what I want to accomplish. Obviously, I want to make great content like I always do, and talk a lot about things that, I think will reach out to people, and people might go like, oh, wow, that's incredible stuff. And as per usual, I won't talk about politics or, religion, because I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. No, we won't do that. But I would like to interview more people out there, who are creative. If they got a creative medium, I want to know about them. I want to talk to them. I want to get to know them. I want to know, why did they choose this as their art, as their creative art? Why did they choose this path? And I really want to share their story out there, because somewhere out there in the world, there could be a person that is interested in being an actor, or being a director, or being, a stuntman, or a musician, or a chef, a tattoo artist, a martial artist, anything that requires the word creativity. If that's what they want to be, we want to inspire them. We could probably interview that person that is in that same art that they're chasing for, and maybe they can inspire them to say, hey, if you want to be a photographer, that's great, or a chef, or an artist that does paint or industrial art, music, blah 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 blah, whatever your flavor is, we got you, we got it. And I'm really excited, I'm motivated, and I invite you guys, if you got that creativity, if you got a creative medium, you should be coming over here and talking about it with me, because it would be incredible. It would be an awesome moment. And it would be great because we would, get you out there. We would promote you. We would talk about all the stuff that you do and a whole lot more. And that's what the show is all about. Besides, coming in here and trying, to absorb the good vibes and just make yourself feel like, hey, I'm at home here and it's wonderful and I love it and I wouldn't have it any other way. That being said, we're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to continue more on this, once again, season premiere, season 5, the very first episode. And I'm glad that you're here. Glad that you're doing it with me. It's going to be amazing. Do what you need to do, but come right back because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience will be back in full force, in full effect. You don't want to miss it.
I want to tell you about an amazing store that's really good for all musicians, music enthusiasts, and a whole lot more, which is Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center in Wheaton, Maryland. That's right, you heard it correctly. Since 1958, Chuck Levin's has been actually tearing up the game when it comes to the music scene. And guess what? Since 1958, they have been the store to go to and a must-visit destination for any serious musician passing through our nation's capital. So, if you're actually a person that's in a band looking for a new instrument, such as an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, or maybe some drums, if you're a DJ looking for like the greatest DJ equipment, such as turntables and so forth, they got you. Hey, are you actually in an orchestra playing a woodwind instrument, brass instrument, or strings? They got you. They got all the classical instruments that you need. And let's not forget, for all my fellow podcasters, need a microphone? They got you. Need a podcasting vocal track recorder? They got you. They got everything, man. And I'm telling you, it's the best place to go. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and do so, because right here at Chuck Levin's, they're the best. Forget the rest. Mess with the best. Located over at 11151 Veers Mill Road in Wheaton, Maryland. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you want to know more about what they have to offer, you can go over to chucklevins.com online or give them a buzz at area code 301-946-8808. Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center. Like I said before, don't worry about the rest. Mess with the best.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
And welcome back, everybody. What's up? What's up? Glad that you're here. Glad that you returned. It's ready to rock and roll here in the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Recently, I've actually done a couple of events where I actually kind of talk about myself, and I talk a little bit about my podcast and how I do things. One of the most common questions that I get asked, and I'm not throwing any shade on the question. I think it's a very, it's a good question. It's a valid question. And it's one of those questions where, like, yeah, if asked, and if it's a common question, answer it. Answer it to the T. Answer it all the time, consistently. That way people know. And the common question is, Kim, when it comes to podcasting, how do you know who to choose when it comes to the the guests that you want to have on your podcast? And that is a very good question. And I'm here to kind of answer that, to kind of give you my version, of the basic rules and concepts that I follow when it comes to this type of subject matter of inviting a guest on, your podcast. Now, this is something of what I do, because this is something that I've learned along the way. So if you feel the need that you want to go ahead and follow, my lead when it comes to this type of stuff, by all means, that's cool and that's awesome, and I hope that it works out. What I have to say right now before I begin is that just because I give you this suggestion doesn't mean that's going to guarantee you 100% success. You know what I mean? I'm just basically telling you from my, experience, what I've done and the rules that I kind of followed. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of the, the brief version, the ABC version, or the basics here on what to do when it comes to that. Let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Who can you invite in terms of your guest on your podcast show? And the simple answer is you can invite anyone that you want, no matter what. If it's somebody that, for me, if it's an actor, if it's a martial artist, if it's somebody that, does anything with a creative outlet, creative form, then I'm all for it, because my podcast is all about people of creativity and trying to, get them out there and have the people know about them, because not many people do know about them. So you can invite whoever you want, albeit if they are a musician, if they are an actor, if they are maybe a doctor or something like that, or somebody from engineering, somebody in the video game world, somebody, for lack of a better term, if you're a religious person and it's a religious podcast, you can probably invite somebody that is very spiritual just as much as you are, and that is willing to, go blow for blow when it comes to talking about subjects of, faith and religion and so forth. You can do that. Also, in a specific example, if you are a person that is doing a podcast about politics, you can invite any person that you want that is involved, in the world of politics. Preferably one that's kind of shares your belief system, and so forth. Like example, and again, I hate talking about politics, but I'm just using this as an example. Say, for example, you are a person that has a political podcast, and you are a Democrat, and you want to invite somebody else that is in the big world of politics, that's really big out there, that's also a Democrat. You can go ahead and invite that person too. There are no, rules when it comes to who you want to invite. You can invite anybody that you want, and it's fine. The only issue is there's going to be one or two ways that, this is going to happen. If you ask them to be your guest, number one, they can kindly reject your offer and say, no, we don't want to be a part of your podcast. And at that point, there's no further need to kick the dog while it's down, sort of thing. If they say no, that's it. Don't do anything to kind of make them try to think otherwise to reverse their decision. If they say no, they mean no. No does not mean yes. So if they kindly decline, that's it. That's where the journey ends. Or option two, they say yes, we would love to be on your podcast, and it'd be wonderful. And at that point, you kind of work out the details of, how you want to do it. Whether if you want to, the time frame, whether if you want to do it, face to face, in person, or if you want to kind of do it, like virtually, because we do live in the world of technology where, we have that access, and that's wonderful. It's great. It's good. Now, here are the, why do you want to go ahead and interview said person? And, I'm going to go ahead and get to that immediately. There are a couple of reasons why you would want to. One, because maybe this person is somebody that you heard about that's really kind of hot, and you want to throw your name in the hat and say, hey, I want to interview this person too. Another reason is because this person is somebody that you have kept your eye on, and you really like what this person does, whatever it is. Whether if it's something creative, if it's something that they do on a regular basis, like, professionally for, in the world of, the medical field or engineering or religion or politics or whatever. You like that person, and you think that person's worth your time of day. And you really think something good could come out of it. That's another reason why you want to go ahead and bring a certain guest. Another reason is because you feel like you might get some kind of enrichment out of it. How many people, like, let's say, for example, who do music podcasts have like this really good big singer from a big band that, they interview, and they feel like they got something really cool out of it. And more so, you, the audience, you got something out of it. That's also like a reason why people go ahead and just do what they do in terms of, wanting to interview said guest. Now, that's just, the basic version of it. Now, whether or not that you can or not is pretty much, up to the podcasting gods. Podcasting is a lot like acting in terms of, like, there's a lot of, competition and so forth. And sometimes you can get the guest that you want, the dream guest that you want, and it's incredible and it works well in your favor, right? Sometimes we try to get that guest and it just doesn't work out. You know what I mean? And it's happened to a lot of great people. If you get rejected, don't take it personally. It's not, let's just put it this way. Just because you got rejected doesn't mean that you're not good. It's just that, maybe in their point of view, it may not be a perfect fit. They may not have the time to do it. A lot's going on that they just have to decline. And at that point, you just have to go ahead and you have to respect what is happening there. I know for me personally, there have been a couple of people who I've been dying, to get the opportunity to interview certain people. And luckily, there are some people that have actually said yes, that have become, that became my guest, and I've interviewed them. Some of them, unfortunately, it was just the wrong time. I'll give you 3 examples. This person, I feel like it's going to happen at a certain point. It just hasn't happened yet. And that person is Davey Suicide, who is not only a person that is a singer in a band, but he's a tattoo artist. And he's also an entrepreneur, being the owner of the Killers Never Die fashion line. I've known Davey for quite a while, and I've always egged him on, kind of dropping hints. And I can do that because, outside of it, he's a good friend. And I try to, tell him that things are going well here in the podcast, and I would really like to have an opportunity And he always says that, you know what, maybe someday we can do it when the time is right. And I'm holding him, I'm holding on to his word here. So, am I excited about the opportunity that it'll happen one day? You better believe it. Do I think it's going to happen right now? Probably not, but I'm still kind of throwing the sense of hope and by my own personal faith and belief that it'll happen. The next person who I want to interview, I feel like I have a 50-50 shot, meaning that somebody in the martial arts industry actually knows him and teaches him, but it's a long shot. The actor Ian Armitage from the famous TV series Young Sheldon. Somebody that I know from the martial arts industry from, the DMV is his instructor. And, he has taught him Taekwondo. And he has been referred by this martial arts instructor to a podcast that I know. A martial arts podcast that I know. Do I feel like I could probably have a good chance with this? I would like to, but when you're talking about somebody like, Ian Armitage, who's a worldwide celebrity, well known, is a hot ticket. I don't know. I like to think that my chances are good, but realistically, I don't know. I feel like I'm at the 50-50 zone here, Not even on the red zone of the football field. I'm at the 50-50 zone. It may work in my favor. It may not. I don't know. Again, holding on to that faith and hoping that it work. This last person that I want to interview, I feel like it's not going to happen, but I'm hoping it will. Like, I literally give myself 0.00001% chance of actually ever interviewing this woman, who is a personality on social media. This girl by the name of Tall Girl Katie, who is out there on Instagram, on X, and other social media outlets. And her claim to fame is that she's a very tall, beautiful woman from England, who's about 6'9", and has decided to use that notoriety as something really, profitable. And I thought to myself, man, a young woman like her, very tall, very beautiful, I want to know about her story, and I want to know about, how she has become a success in social media. I have given my interest, and I've actually locked it down by, letting her know in a private message on Instagram. And I think that she's not interested because I think it's the idea of it makes her feel uncomfortable. At that point, I have to kind of stop my tracks, pull on the brakes and say, we tried. Am I hoping that it'll happen one day? Sure, why not? I would love to hope away. Do I feel like my chances are really good? No. Realistically, at this point, I feel like if I didn't really hit that target now, then it's probably too late. I don't know. But that's what you have to do sometimes, guys, when it comes to, when you want to have guests and you ask yourself the questions of, like, who you want to, invite, and why, and the when. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to give you a free piece of advice, which is do the best you can with it. If something happens where, like, you have the great opportunity to do it and it's confirmed, great, congratulations. If not, keep it moving. It's not the end of the world. You know? It's not like, oh, this person gave me a rejection. I feel so down. I will never, ever, do this, and this ever again. And I quit and blah, 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 blah. No, man. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep yourself focused. There are just ways around it. If you don't get that guest, you can always make a solo episode and talk about things that you want to air out. And that's fine. And I can say this, whether, if you have that perfect guest that you're searching for or not, the fact that you're doing something creative is amazing. And you know what? If you have a guest to kind of share the moment with, that's awesome. But if not, that's not the total pie of why you're doing it. You're doing it because you love it, because you want to have fun with it. You have something to say, and, you just want to get yourself out there for people to say, hey, this person's a personality in the world of podcasting. I gotta give this brother or this sister props, because this person is off the Richter. You know what I mean? It's really cool, no doubt. And that's all I gotta say about it. We're gonna take a little bit of a break. When we come back, your favorite, portion of the podcast in mine, Q&A, question and answer. You ask the questions, I'm going to answer it. And we're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a break, but come right back, because we're just starting to turn up the heat, and it's getting hot in here, right here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
In life, we all want to have great health and excellent physical fitness. However, it's never given, only earned. That said, if you want to go to a gym that will help you to get there, then look no further than Kicked Up Fitness at National Business Parkway in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. Their mission at Kicked Up is to provide the ultimate functioning training facility that focuses solely on your success, with a diverse team that's highly qualified and dedicated to taking your fitness goals to the next level. Kicked Up also offers a variety of group classes and personal training programs that provide something for everyone, regardless of your fitness level. They believe in working hard, achieving results, all while having fun. So come visit their facility in person, which is located at 114 National Business Parkway, Suite 100 in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, 20701. Now, if you see my friend Sean Queen, who's the owner of Kicked Up, tell him that Benny Chow of Miscalculated sent you, and he'll hook you up with a complimentary 7-day pass just to try it out. Need more info? Give him a call. 410-888-9066. Email them at kufitnessnbp@gmail.com or visit them at their website at www.kufitnessnbp.com. Kicked Up Fitness. Never given, only earned.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
And welcome back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for, sticking with us. Like I said, first episode of the new season number 5, and I'm really happy about it. It was a really good episode that turned out to be an amazing time. I knew before coming into the studio today that I was going to feel happy, and I was going to feel good, and I was going to feel happy knowing that I did exactly what I wanted to do. And I thought to myself, man, this will be a great outcome. And I'm glad that, that theory is true. So thank you guys. So let's go ahead and get to the, the final portion of the show. Let me give you a little bit of a usual disclaimer. The Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is asking for help and assistance on a voluntary basis to anyone out there that would like to, assist us with our podcast show by the ways of sponsorship or financially donating to our podcast show to help make our podcast show that much better in terms of its quality. Now, all proceeds that we raise will go towards, the podcast, such as, getting, more equipment and better equipment for what we need. Example, such as, microphones for in-studio guests, XLR cables that are associated with those microphones, additional headphones for our guests, and believe it or not, a MacBook Pro, which is the official computer of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, because that computer is the secret weapon that helps us to edit and give you top quality of an episode here on the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Now, whatever you want to donate, no matter the value, is appreciated. And I'm going to go ahead and insert the joke. Example, if you want to donate $5 million, which I don't think anybody would want to do that, but if you did, we appreciate it, and we probably would call you an executive producer. That would be amazing, and we would love you forever. So it's even low as $5. Every little bit helps, and we would appreciate, the financial assistance that you can give us. You can make a donation throughout the following. If you have PayPal and or Venmo, you can donate using those two apps or websites, and you can donate by using my tag name at KimHoangMDActor. That's once again at KimHoangMDActor. Or if you have CashApp, use CashApp and donate it through our tag name there, $KimHoangMDActor. Once again, $KimHoangMDActor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you want it, we got it. The first Q&A session of 2026, and also the first Q&A of the first episode of the brand new season number 5. You asked them questions, and we're going to go ahead and answer it. I do have some questions. Normally, I do answer 7, and then I answer some bonus questions. To top off the new year, I will answer some bonus questions, and there will be 3 bonus questions, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and try to nail this out right now, because I'm not sure how much time that we have left, so I want to go ahead and make sure that the time that we have is well invested. Question number 1, Kim, will there be any movie projects that you'll be working in on this year, on 2026? Tina from Bakersfield, California. I will say, Tina, that I have it on good authority that I will be working on a movie project as an actor. I am part of the cast for a movie that will be shot in the Baltimore area this summer. I don't have it on good authority to give you the title of the film for my role just yet. But I promise you, once I actually have the authority to do so, I will mention that for sure. It's my hope that, we'll be able to get that permission pretty soon, because I'm really excited. And that's all I can legally say, because I did sign an non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. And until the director makes the first move to actually make that announcement, then I can follow suit. So, there you go. Question number 2. Kim, Happy New Year. What are your resolutions / goals for 2026? Raymond from Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada. Well, first off, Raymond, Happy New Year's to you too, my brother. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If I have any goals or resolutions for this year, it's the following. One, I definitely want to work on my health, both in the physical and in the mental health area. Physically, I do want to, train more in the martial arts and stay active. I do want to get my body a little bit moving a little bit more. And I definitely want to work a lot on my cardio in the best way that I can, because obviously when you work on your cardio, for people that have congestive heart failure, it does help the heart out, and it starts to be a little bit more stronger. Obviously, I can't be as much of intense with my workouts, so I'm trying to figure that out in terms of what exercises would be good for my condition. Also, physically, I would like to try to work out with, weights and do like a lot of weight work. Obviously, nothing heavy, because I don't want to put any heavy, strenuous, motion and energy to my body. So I probably will end up working with weights that are a little bit more light, so I can do it a little bit easy, but I can still do like a lot of repetitions, just to kind of like, I guess you can say, get a little bit stronger and tone up. I'm not trying to be like, the Lou Ferrigno. I'm just trying to, stay physically active and be strong without sacrificing too much. In terms of my mental health, I definitely want to work on that a lot and make sure that, I'm in a good place, where, that I feel like, balanced, and I feel good about myself. I'm definitely trying to stay away from negative energy and the people that have that negative energy, because I feel like when you stick around with people that are negative and just, spit acid rather than, offer you honey, it's just not worth it. It's, it just really puts a hole in your soul, and I don't want that. I really don't want that. Also, another resolution and goal for 2026, going to the first question, I really do want to work more on my acting and really be involved in a lot of full-length, local films. Although doing shorts is great, I'm really trying to get myself out there, and I really want to show people that I am capable of acting and that I'm really good at it. And this is the reason why, people, want to see me, because I have that capability, and I have the potential, and I know that I can do it. So there you go. Question number 3. Kim, do you have any opinions about the recent news of John Harbaugh parting ways with the Baltimore Ravens? Cassie Ray from Hanover, Maryland. Okay. Local person, I like that. Cassie, it really hurts, because you're talking about a man that for 18 years was the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. His total record was 180 wins and 113 losses, having 12 playoff appearances, 4 AFC title game appearances, and has won one Super Bowl championship with the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like that's nothing to sneeze at. For 18 years, this man has really given his heart, his soul, his blood, sweat, and tears in the area of coaching. And, I would like to say that I do kind of understand why certain people wanted him to leave, because, later on, he wasn't really living up to the hype and the potential and the expectation of what not only us, the fans, want out of, John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens, but, a lot of people within the organization felt the same way. It was rumored that, he, was still going to be the coach, but they wanted to make some changes in, the coaching staff, and he wasn't willing to give that up. So that's one reason why, he probably left. I think that a lot of fans felt like, if John Harbaugh is not really doing his job, and these are the constant results that we're getting, then he has to go. While some of us, myself included, I feel like, I felt like that was kind of like not the... I don't agree with it. Honestly, I don't. But I get it. And I just hope, honestly, that, wherever John Harbaugh lands, that he will do the best work of what he can do in terms of being a head coach. As of this moment right now, I thought that I read online through Facebook, through the NFL, official Facebook page, that John Harbaugh signed a 5-year deal to be a head coach of the New York Giants. I don't know if that's 100% true, but knowing that it's from the NFL and they're putting it on their NFL Facebook page, I think that is truth. The only thing I can say after that is just I want to say thank you to, John Harbaugh for, years of service with the Baltimore Ravens. You did, in my opinion, a heck of a job. And, best of luck to you wherever you go in life. So, there it is. Question 4. Kim, there's a student at a martial arts school where I train at, who was a brown belt, who recently has not attended a lot of classes because he seems disinterested. Is there anything I can do to help? Matt from Jackson, Wyoming. Matt, I would say that from a student standpoint, just be there for that student and do all that you can to show love and support. This is a type of situation where, unfortunately, it's out of your hands, and you should let the instructors, the master of the school or the grandmaster of the school, whoever owns it, talk to that student, and then have a conference with the student's parents to see what's going on and so forth. If there's, any, shred of concern. Hopefully, and I'm just saying this, hopefully, that, it's just one of those things where maybe, that student in question is either going through a lot, or there's something that's on his plate that he's trying to balance everything all at once. And hopefully that's the good case scenario. I don't want to assume anything, but that's where I'm going with it, and I'm hoping that's the case. I hope it's nothing any more dangerous to the situation other than that. So, there it is. Question number 5. Kim, since you are from the Maryland state, is there a place that you would recommend to buy seafood? I usually go to Whole Foods, but I feel like I'm not getting what I really want. Christine from Ellicott City, Maryland. All right, another local person. I like this. I like this a lot. Let me see. There is a place that I normally go to. It is called, and if I remember correctly, Wild Seafood. Over, the address is 7901 Oceano Avenue in Jessup, Maryland, 20794. I've bought a lot of great seafood from there. I've bought a lot of great fish from there. Great quality of seafood and fish. Great prices too. Prices that I feel like everyone can agree with. Although I don't mind Whole Foods, because I think that there are certain things that they can get for sure, but the prices I feel like are a little bit outrageous. So if you want to go somewhere that has like really good seafood at a really good price and a great variety of seafood, I definitely would go to Wild Seafood. right there in Jessup, Maryland, right there off of Oceana Avenue. And that's all that I can really say. Just be careful, because I know Wild Seafood, they have they have kind of like weird hours, because it's like Monday through Fridays, Monday through Thursdays, they're open from 9 to 5. Fridays are open 9 to 6. Saturday, they're open 9 to 5. Sundays, they're open from 12 p.m. noontime until 5 p.m. So that's the situation there. I can tell you that you can definitely get all that you want and more, like without a shadow of a doubt. Like, black sea bass, bronzini, butterfish, catfish, croaker, flounder, mackerel, like Spanish mackerel or mackerel king. Obviously they got oyster trouts, porgies, 3 types of salmon, which me personally, I like the sockeye salmon. I think they're great. I think it's wonderful. And other types of fish like tilapia, white bass, white perch, things of that nature. If you're looking for somewhere where you can probably get tuna, there's probably like another seafood fishmonger place not far from there. I don't have the information for that, but you probably could go over there and get tuna and probably get it for a good price. At least I think so. So there it is. Question number 6. Kim, what are your thoughts on thrift store shopping? Good or bad? That is coming from Alvin from Jamesville, North Carolina. Alvin, I like thrift store shopping. I really do. I think it's a good thing. And, when you go thrift store shopping, you can go ahead and buy vintage clothing for a real good price, a cheap price, an affordable price. Lately, though, I haven't had the time to do thrift store shopping, and that's my bad. So I'm probably missing out. But I want to make an additional comment that lately somebody recently said, and I think I heard this on something on YouTube, that somebody said that thrift store shopping is a real bad idea, because when you're thrift store shopping, you're shopping for used clothing or used shoes or something like that, and only poor people do that. And honestly, I don't agree with that. I think that thrift store shopping is what it is. You know that you're buying older clothes or vintage stuff, and that's cool. If you have a use for it, that's great. If you don't have a use for it, fine, don't do any thrift store shopping, but don't disrespect people that do. So that's the way that I see it. Where am I at? Question number 7. Kim, name some places that you would love to travel to if you have the chance. Chandra from Hamilton, Montana. Locally, Chandra, I would like to say Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I love going there. I think Philadelphia is a great city. Definitely a city that has a lot of American history. It has a lot of great restaurants, a lot of cool shops. It definitely lives to the moniker, the city of brotherly love, in my opinion, and I would definitely like to go there. I have family in Chicago, so I would love to go to Chicago, basically because it's a really cool city, and there's a lot that's going on there, and I love Chicago. I think Chicago's really incredible. I think it's awesome, and although I've been to Chicago, I haven't really got a chance to really explore it like how I want to. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. I would definitely love to go to Chicago. Definitely would like to go to Dallas, Texas, and Houston. I would like to go to the Bay Area in California. like San Jose, Milpitas, Oakland, San Francisco, and I would love to go to Los Angeles. Now, if we're talking about countries, that's a little different. There are a lot of countries that I love to go. Obviously Canada, would love to go there. Would love to go to Mexico and Puerto Rico. I would love to go back to the Netherlands. Netherlands was fucking awesome. That was the first time back in 2019. I took a trip over there to visit a good friend of mine, Chrissy, and I was there for 2 weeks for the Christmas holiday and New Year's. That was the first time ever that I got to travel by myself to another country, and I like it. And I think that I want to travel by myself more often, because when you travel by yourself, you have the opportunity to do what you want and when you want. You don't, when you travel with family members, you're basically on their time. And where you want to go, they don't want to go. What you want to do, they don't want to do. And I think that's just like, to me, I feel like that's unfair. It's your vacation. Do whatever the hell you want with it. You know what I mean? So if you want to go ahead and, do this and do that and travel here and travel there, do it. I think it's a great thing, and you should go ahead and do it. Other places I would love to go, I would love to go to France. I would love to go to England. I would love to go to Ireland. Germany was pretty cool, so I would like to go back to Germany, especially in Berlin. And I did enjoy going over to the Czech Republic. If I had to go, let's say, to Asian countries, South Korea, of course, because, I take a martial art that's, from South Korea. I would love to go to Thailand. I would love to go to the Philippines. Singapore. I would love to go to Singapore. And Malaysia. I would love to even travel to Japan. China, I feel like, there's a lot going on there. I would have to kind of figure that one out. Definitely would like to go to Hong Kong. And I think that's it. That's all the places I would want to go. So that's that. Now, we have bonus question time, and I'm happy about it. I'm excited. So here we go. So now, technically, we are at question number 8. Kim, can you recommend some good sushi restaurants that are in your area? Barry from Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Wow, you're very close to, you're close to the Maryland state, so that's awesome. 3 places that I love to go to for myself personally. In Annapolis, Maryland, there's Joss Cafe Sushi Bar, which I think is an incredible sushi place. I grew up eating there. I love their stuff. They got wonderful, wonderful food. And, I'm telling you, I definitely would like to go there for sure. Again, very soon. Because, not only do they have great sushi, top-notch quality of sushi, and just great, offerings in general, but their interpretation of Japanese cuisine is on point, and I like it. I like it a lot. A fun place I also go to is in Rockville, Maryland, called the Kura Revolving Sushi Bar, where there's plates of sushi, and you can get each plate for like $4 a pop, which is a great, great deal. So you literally could buy sushi and get like a real good deal. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do quick math, so I'm going to do, obviously, I'm going to cheat here and use the calculator, so I'm really sorry, but, I'm not really good with, math like that, I can't really come up with the numbers like that from my head. But let's say, for example, at $4 a plate, let's say you get $15, 15 plates, so 15 plates multiplied by $4 a plate is 60 American dollars or $60, which is great. Compared to other places, you might spend a lot more. So if you think about it, it's pretty good. And if you eat 15 plates, you walk away with a cool little prize. That's the thing that Kura Sushi does. So I think that's pretty cool. And there is a place that has a lot of locations called Sushi Q. The ones that I go to are in Jessup, Maryland, and Elkridge. Although I know there's some over in Millersville, Maryland. There's one over, I believe, in the Sykesville, Eldersburg area, and a whole lot of other locations. But Sushi Q is pretty good too. I feel like, they give you great quality of sushi at a reasonable value, and I think it's awesome. So those are my 3 places that I would go. Question number 9 of the bonus round. Kim, what kind of music do you listen to when you work out? Melissa from Quebec City, Quebec, Canada. Oh, man. I feel like I've answered this question before, honestly and truly. But for the sake of argument, I will say that I listen to all types of music. I just don't listen to country. So, obviously, I listen to alternative, to rock and roll, metal, hip hop, R&B. I even listen to jazz and classical. So, anything, that has a good musical beat that moves you will move you physically and get you in that, mood to, get your workout on and really do what's necessary in order to make yourself feel really good, and pumped up. So, last but not least, question number 10. Kim, when you earn a black belt rank in any style of martial art, does that make you an expert? Will from Ford, Kansas. Well, I would say this, and I think it's fair to say this. When you earn a black belt in any martial art, like your first degree black belt, let's say, your entry level black belt, to me, I feel like you are an authority of the art in terms of that you conquered the basics and you can talk about it, but I wouldn't say that you would know every single thing, about that art. I always feel like when you are like a grandmaster at like an 8th degree, that's when I could say like you're the real expert. Until then, you just know certain things about the art and what your experiences are, and that's okay. I just hate it when first degree black belts earn their black belt. They automatically think that they're the ish, and they talk about like they know every single thing. No, you don't know every single thing. And the good thing about it is it's okay not to know every single thing. I have a 3rd degree black belt in the Muay Kwan style of Taekwondo. Doesn't mean that it's applicable to the World Taekwondo Federation or International Taekwondo Federation, like those specific kwans of, Taekwondo. But I'm good enough to know about, certain things within Taekwondo, specifically the branch that I train in, and that's okay. But I am no expert by any means, forever a student. You know what I mean? That's my thing. And that's it. And that's all we got. Wow, that was fun. That was really fun. Let's go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Follow your boy. I am on Facebook. Just search under the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience under the search box. Like and follow it. We definitely would appreciate it. I'm also on 2 other social media platforms. X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. Please follow me by my tag name, which is at TKHPC Experience. Once again, it's at TKHPC Experience, which stands for the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. All in one word, lowercase letters. Follow me and I'll follow you back. We are on 6 podcasting platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Please like our podcast and follow our podcast on all of those podcasting platforms. Now, do us a favor. If you listen to us on Spotify, give us a 5-star ranking. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star ranking and a positive written review. Because the more times that you do that for both Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, then our podcast will be thrown into the front lines and it will get much more notice and traction. So that when you actually see it there, when you log in, you could be like, oh my gosh, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. I heard about that. My friend Mary said that it's a great podcast. We should like, follow, and subscribe to it. Yes, yes, and yes. Please, and thank you. Also, do us a favor, please. Share this out to any of your podcasts, or not podcasting platforms. Share this with any of your social media platforms that you have, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, now known as X, again, Instagram, even TikTok. We would love that. We would appreciate that. Share it with people that you know personally, in person, friends, family members, co-workers. The more the merrier, because it's in this world, we call it brand awareness. Sharing is caring, and we definitely appreciate the love and support that you would give us. Last but not least, if you want to be a special guest on our show, if you want to be a guest host, if you have any constructive criticism, if you have any questions for a Q&A form, which we normally do that only on our solo episodes, please go ahead and email us at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com. Whatever the subject matter is, put it in the subject box and then write your email in the body and then send it out. And I will respond back because I like emails and I like communications and correspondence. I'll read the email, I promise you, and I'll get back with you within a day or two. And that's it, guys. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you so much for your love and support. Just do us a favor. Please be safe out there, because it doesn't do us any good if you do anything that you're not allowed to do in life and you don't want to put yourself in danger. Because it would really suck if you land in a pine box and get buried 6 feet under, which we don't want you to do. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be happy. We want you to be, in the best possible you as you can be, because you deserve it. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be happy. And if anybody tells you otherwise, that you don't belong, give them the middle finger or something and tell them to kiss off. You got zero time for negativity. And, we're trying to kick that bad habit. That being said, once again, thank you so much, guys. Happy New Year. 2026, we're here. And may this new year of 2026 give you all that you want and a whole lot more. I hope I wish nothing but the best for you guys, to have, good health, good wealth, lots of happiness, and a lot of love. So for the one time here at the KU, not even at the KU dungeon, because I wish I was there, but we're in Wheaton, Maryland. We're over at the Prototype Studio. This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, the host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy that's got the power that can bring it within the hour, and the dude with the right attitude saying thank you, arigato. We're going to do it again real soon. I promise you that. Until then, be good, be well, be safe, and know that if you need anything, give me a private email or a private message. Holler at your boy. Take care, guys. I love y'all. Be safe. Peace.